I'm Amy.
And I'm Bunny.
And welcome to We've All
Got Dead People.
This is the pilot episode. We'll pretend, because we've actually shot this before,
Yeah.
like a month or so ago. That's fine.
Yeah, it probably was a month ago.
It probably was. But to be honest,
It was shit.
that wasn't our bad, it was shit.
It was shit.
So, like, maybe it's a good thing that we're just starting fresh. So, I feel like the title is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But let's give some background on where we're coming from. So, in July this year, our mum died.
Woo. Dead Mum Club, let's go.
Rad. Yeah, that's a weird thing to say. To be honest, last time we filmed this, like, we couldn't actually speak about this bit, and I still find it really hard to speak about with friends and people, like the specifics. But our mum died, and she died of a brain tumour.
Multiple
Brain tumours.
Yeah. Basically, long story short, brain cancer. Like,
Bad brain
is a
cancer.
summary. Yeah.
Should we go into, like, the specifics? Is that a useful story?
I feel like that will just come up as we go along.
Maybe, but
But I mean,
I'll trigger it.
when did she get diagnosed? I
Yeah.
mean, it was instantly diagnosed as, like, well, not instantly, but...
so basically in February last year, or no, this year, sorry.
Been
Jesus
a long
Christ.
fucking year.
It's been a long year. Yeah, this year in February, I get a call from her. And our mum was like a textile artist. She was like a pretty cool lady. And I was living in North London at the time. You were at uni in Bournemouth, and she called me, and she seemed like weird, but like normal-ish. And then after like kind of small talk, she's like, I need you to come home this weekend. And I'm like, yeah, but mum, like, so I work in fashion PR. And I was like, mum, like my career's just taking off. I was like, I've got events this week. I've got shit to do. Like, I'm not coming home. It's bad timing. She's like, no, you should come home.
No.
I'm like, and I'm like, nah, mum, like it's not a try. She eventually is like, Amy, come the fuck home, and then is upset. I'm like, shit, okay. And then I come home. She picks me up from the station, and we talk about it. And basically, she's got at that point it was they were looking for a brain tumor, or they knew she had a brain tumor, and they were going to test if it was like operable. Is that the right word? Kind of what kind of treatment plans they would do, and that type of thing, and look at the stage that it was. So that's all we knew.
At that point, I was unaware.
Yeah.
Like,
So
I was uninvolved and completely
Exactly.
oblivious, and I was just told it's not cancer. When I got told it's not cancer, don't worry, it's not cancer, don't worry.
who told you that?
Mum, she sat me down. She said it's not cancer, don't worry.
Oh.
That was my first 3 months of my life. But my gut, when she told me, my gut was it's cancer. She goes, darling, it's not cancer. Yeah.
So you had that as
Yeah.
your experience, and this was probably like, it was 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks after she told me.
Yeah.
Because with me, she was like, oh, I don't know when to tell Bunny, blah, 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 let's leave it until we get a diagnosis, and then she couldn't hold out
'cause
any
it
longer.
wasn't official at this point.
No. With me, she was obviously very upset, and I remember having conversations where we were like stood in the kitchen, and we were going through it, and she broke it down. So it's, they're going to do a biopsy, and then, as they're doing the biopsy, like maybe they can cut it out, just remove it.
Yeah.
Find out exactly where it is, and then test like the stage of it, blah, blah, blah. But even at this point, like she knew that she just had a really bad gut feeling, and yeah, she was scared. But I remember like speaking to her, and I knew it was going to be worst case scenario as well. Like, I don't know, it's just in my head I just was like, fuck, like it is going to be.
Yeah.
And I just remember saying to her like, oh my God, it sounds so fucking shit because I've got no emotion saying it, but I just kind of said, it's awful, but like she'd done I know she lived a life where there was no regret, and she lived really quickly, like very fast, and
She was always doing 8 things at once.
always doing 8 things at once. So, and she'd finally, the ironic thing is she'd finally settled with her partner, her boyfriend, Dave. And they had this studio because they were both artists, and they'd bought this house in Norfolk in the countryside, spent ages doing it up. And like, we always thought it was weird that they could spend like all of their time together and not get bored of each other. But like, they basically were the perfect match.
They were soulmates.
Soulmates, yeah, exactly. And it took her a long time to find that. So that's the fucked up part, is that like as soon as things were perfect, like she didn't get that, but she did get it for a bit of time. And you know, there's also an argument of maybe because she slowed down and gave in to stuff. I don't know. And yeah, she was upset, but she was like, and you know, you guys are gonna be, I know you're gonna be fine because I've raised you right. So there was that. And then obviously we find out that it's not one but two brain tumours.
And I swear,
Sick.
at that point, it was definitely like stage 4.
Oh yeah, so
without
it was,
a doubt.
So after they did the test, it was
Biopsy.
2 brain tumours. Yeah. One they cut out as much of as possible, and then the second one was too far into her brain, and basically they were really important. I want to
At
say
this point, for you, it was like you knew it could have been cancer. You found out it was cancer.
No, it
and
was
stage 4.
cancer.
But for me, it's not cancer. It's stage 4. I'm dying.
Fuck.
So that's why I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the call with Mum because she's like calling me and she's like, oh yeah, so it's not 1 but 2. The second one we can't even operate on because I will be paralysed anyway, so there's no point. Yeah, it's stage 4, haha. And I remember just kind of crying and being like, yeah, of course it is. And her being the same, like, yeah. Obviously both just like completely, what the fuck do we do?
Yeah.
And then after that, because I haven't really been that upset throughout this, but I was seeing a guy at the time and I called him in absolute tears, like, my mum's like gonna die, like she's gonna go, like what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to foster Bunny, like I'm a parent now, shit, I need to like get my life together, like blah, blah, blah. And yeah, but then
Did not happen.
no, it fell apart more.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
I don't even know.
So we found out Mum's sick. You've gone from it's not cancer to
It's cancer.
how long has she got left?
I don't think I cried for ages.
No,
I don't think
really.
I processed it for ages. I had
Shit.
like the one moment where like I bawled my eyes out in that one lecture that I had, and that was.
Do you wanna share that story?
I mean, I don't know. It was a bit of an odd one, but I had this really, really amazing lecturer, and I don't know. She was like, I wouldn't come to the session because at this point, Mum was emailing her, I think, or something, and she was like, I wouldn't come to the session.
She'd let her know, yeah.
Because like my work.
She was trying to trigger the like in uni counselling support thing.
Right.
That was so she'd done the like set
Right.
up stage and said that.
Well, yeah. Anyway, I do photography at Bournemouth, so this is like my photography tutor basically being like, don't come and see my work because it focuses on cancer.
Jesus Christ.
Or no, it was. She didn't even tell me that it was on cancer. She was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's based on my mum, and I was like, oh, I'm fine with that. She went, no, buddy, my mum died, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Still fucking turned up like an idiot that I am. But I think I was meant to see it because I went in, sat down, and she was like, this is my mum. My mum got diagnosed with fucking brain cancer, and then and like multiple tumours. And then they tried chemo and it wouldn't work. And then they did radiotherapy and it only worked for a certain amount of sessions. And then that was it. And then she was slowly dying. And I remember watching this, bawling my eyes out, like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. And that was the thing. It was that like the big thing for me was I managed to not fully cry. And then at the end I got up and I literally fell back into my chair because I was just bawling my eyes out. And then she came running over and she was like, don't worry, like this was 10 years ago, technology's changed, this won't happen to your mum. This won't happen to your mum. And then it got to real life with Mum and it was multiple tumours. Tried chemo, it didn't work.
Didn't do chemo.
No, because she threw it out.
No, she didn't try it.
She did, she had the tablet and she was sick. That's why it didn't go ahead. Yeah. But my point is like, my tutor's mum and our mum had the exact same thing. And it was like, it was so fucked, but also in a sense I feel like that presentation genuinely prepared me for this. I think it was almost like a sign, like this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it was just so funny because again, this idea of Mum saying it's not cancer. With Lauren, I had,
it's cancer, but
no, and she was me. Your mum's not going to die.
Yeah.
Your mum's not going to die. It's not going to be the same as what happened to my mum. And I just had this thing.
Is the camera recording?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Continue.
We'll hope it.
But you had this thing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Just crazy.
Do you know what I'm thinking as well? As what we found really fucking annoying is like, even after the prognosis, a lot of friends and family, like we were saying, it's like Mum is dying.
Yeah.
Well,
No, what I
everyone
had,
was just so like kind of gaslighting us to
I-
deal with it themselves, and we're like, no, fuck you. Like we're telling you she's
I remember
dying.
being like, my mum's dead, she's dying. They're like, don't manifest it. I was like, no, she's
She is
stage
dying.
4. She's
She
fucking
is dying.
dying.
Like, we
you
don't
can't recover
Yeah.
from getting a stage 4
Literally.
diagnosis.
Well,
Like,
and then
what's-
people were, well, don't be sad. Like
Yeah.
you've got to be positive.
It's
Fuck
like-
off.
Yeah,
Fuck
but also
off.
they don't know because they're not going through
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Like no, we've just got to like. I mean, people have loads of different coping strategies, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
fuck that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we saw some distressing stuff. It's
Yeah.
out for debate whether we'll get like.
Loki still traumatized from it
Little
all.
Willie's still
Little Willie
traumatised.
traumatized from it all. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. I've low-key put it all behind me.
My therapist was like, if this becomes a problem, you can get like, PTSD therapy essentially.
I mean-
I don't think we're there yet. Like
I don't think
it's
we're there
really
yet.
bad, but like it's not waking me up in the middle of the night or anything.
No, but I just get flashes of it and I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah. I think that's one of the worst things. It's like, well, it's gone through stages, but you don't want to
Yeah.
remember her as that person. It took us a really long time to like separate that version of mum
Yeah.
from like the mum we knew. The other thing that is worth mentioning is she had long COVID, and
Yeah.
I feel bad now because I kind of. So she had long COVID, and we didn't really know much about it, and the doctors were gaslighting her because it was like, well, you know, she had brain fog, she was really exhausted, and she never
Yeah.
stopped before, and she was having naps and all this
Yeah.
stuff. But then we kind of just thought, well, is part of it like yeah, she definitely had COVID and it was really bad, but the recovery thing is of like, well, if you don't walk then you're going to be less fit, so it's going to be harder, and like if you think you can't do stuff then it's hard to do stuff. So I kind of felt like that because I've always had that kind of mindset. I don't anymore, I'll tell you that. I am not the same person I once was, neither are you. It's depressing. But yeah, and I kind of didn't believe her for ages. But then thinking about it now, like her symptoms that she had,
I think the signs were there so early on.
yeah, like that. I think the long COVID
It
was
was just
brain
excused
cancer.
as long COVID at the time.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I think 2 years ago, I mean, we've said is she wasn't herself 2 years ago.
No.
For the past
Yeah.
2 years, she just wasn't mum.
No, she was Karen-y,
Yeah.
which she never was.
Yeah, but even then, like, even besides that, she would just kind of wander. Her mind would wander. You'd
Yeah.
have a conversation with her, she'd walk out the room and you'd be like, okay.
Yeah, like she's always been as an artist like very ADHD, but that's different. Like
It's
that's she
different.
can do 1,000 things, bounce back to the thing.
But it was like, oh, I'm just really tired. But I genuinely think that maybe that was the start of the actual tumour
No, yeah, for
growing
sure.
in her
For sure
brain.
it was.
But, like, it's just insane.
And she essentially just deteriorated really quickly.
Really
so if
fucking
that
quick.
was, when did she have the surgery?
I don't know.
April.
I feel like everything was
April. I'm saying.
February.
I think April she had the surgery.
Everything was like February, March, April. That was just merged.
Let's just say April she had the surgery, the biopsy, and then starts. Or maybe she had the biopsy earlier. Either way, around April time, she started chemo, which didn't work, and then radiotherapy. So that's when she started treatment, and then from April to when did she die? July.
July. It
So
was
that's
like July 20.
A couple months, basically. And she, in the beginning, it was kind of like she was still herself, but she was tired. She still looked like her.
But she just wasn't.
She wasn't
Right.
Yeah.
But I think maybe that was like knowing.
Also, the stress that you're
Yeah.
going through. How the fuck do you manage that? Like,
She just wasn't.
and she was planning
100%.
like her whole funeral at this point. Like,
Yeah.
as a
Writing us
freelance
letters.
artist, like, there's so much that she had to kind of try and tie up, and we're still tying up now. I say we're not doing it. Family are, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah.
Their estate. Like, I find that so funny. Like, obviously, she doesn't have an estate.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's not literal, but yeah, it's really weird terminology. But yeah, first of all, it's like she's getting our names the wrong way round, but we didn't really think that much of that because it's like, who fucking cares?
That's just like getting
Inevitable.
old. That's
Yeah.
just normal.
So we were like,
That's
fine.
just normal shit.
And then it progressed to she found it hard to remember what she wanted to say. Her
No.
vocabulary got smaller.
Yeah, but originally it was like her just muddling her words.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then it was
But-
just her sentences just weren't
Right.
right.
But
And
this was
then-
after we knew it was
Yeah,
cancer.
exactly. And
Yeah.
then the thing is, like, I was staying at uni, and then I decided to base my project on her so that I wasn't isolated at uni, and that I wasn't going to decide to quit uni and just stay with mum. So I was coming down, like, every weekend, every other weekend. But that meant that the decline was just so visible. And that was, like, really hard to see. And I feel like me and you were seeing her at the same time.
Yeah,
But, like, so originally it was just her speech.
Mm.
And then she was then limited to, like, sentences. And then it was words. And then there was this, like, mini interview that we did with her.
Oh, that was fucked up. So
it was horrible.
you're at uni in Bournemouth. Originally I was doing like a Gals Who Rent situation, living with strangers in North London and Cricklewood, which, yeah, not my favourite place. Anyway, I was really lucky because our mum's twin brother, like our aunt and uncle, basically took me in, and now based in Brixton. We're very happy, but like I was supported at that point. Like I had a roof over my head. There wasn't that stress of like, shit, if I can't make rent this month, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Although having said that, at that point I'd been like, your savings. Now I have no savings. But yeah, so I felt surrounded by family, which was nice. People who understood what I was going through. But yeah, same as you, sorry, where it's like we're going back every other weekend, and we'd do it always, or most of the time, so that it was the same time.
Yeah, because
so
I
that
feel
we
like
had that
we
shared
couldn't
traumatic
have done that
experience.
alone. I
No,
couldn't have
fuck
done that
no.
without you.
No.
And there were days where you were like, can you come, please?
Yeah, or there was like one time I feel like I went on my own, and I remember just being
Yeah.
like, Bunny, what the hell?
Yeah.
Or you had a period of, like, maybe you had like half term or something, we had to be there.
I can't fucking remember to be
Yeah.
fair. It's all just a blur because it happened so quick, and I feel like the really, really bad parts I've blocked out
Yeah,
already.
I agree. But should we
I
get into that a bit more?
I
We don't need to go into
I
it
don't know.
too much.
But-
But basically so it goes from that, we do that interview.
The interview, and we're asking her questions, and all she can say is, I don't know.
But
and,
no,
like,
but at this point you could see she knew what
she's
she was going to
very
say.
much there. It's just she couldn't form the actual
Yeah.
sentences.
So but it was doable because we knew, like, we're kids.
Because we know.
We know the answers
Yeah.
to the questions. We know the type of things she'd say. So we'd say, oh well, like, oh, didn't you say this was like the best time of your life?
And
Or-
then she could probably
it was
be
dumb
like,
questions
yeah,
I found
no.
from TikTok, like the 10 questions to ask your mum before they die.
Great.
A bit on the
Thanks,
nose.
TikTok.
But would have been really cute. At this point, it was too late.
It was way too late.
So she just said, yeah, no.
I don't know. And then that was when she was getting her nails mixed up. And it was just
Yeah.
heartbreaking to watch, and she was just crying
Getting
because
upset.
she couldn't
And we were like, no, it's
form
fine.
sentences, and she
Yeah.
wanted to, and she just couldn't, and that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then that same weekend, the next day, she
So she was walking around like that.
Yeah.
She was weak. But she was walking around.
and then the day after the interview, she couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So her whole entire leg.
she was on the ground floor
was
already
fucked.
because she was too tired to walk up the stairs. Had she started chemo? Or sorry, had she started radiotherapy?
I think it was past this.
I don't.
I think
oh no!
she had
You start
sessions.
the steroids. She was on steroids, which weaken
Right.
your muscles in your legs.
Yeah.
So she'd stopped using upstairs and was just downstairs. But she was still like pretty mobile, but just couldn't walk far at all.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm thinking now. Do you remember we went on a walk to like in Norfolk, Suffolk, like
Yeah. we had to
Walswick,
turn
Salford
around.
walk, and we're doing that. And I remember we were both really annoyed that she didn't.
But this was way earlier on.
way earlier, but just
This
the
was
fact
just after
even then she
July,
couldn't
so-
physically walk that far, but she was speaking and being normal and.
She was just mum at that point.
Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, by this point, steroids had fucked up her legs, so she couldn't walk far. Downstairs, sitting down a lot.
Like, I literally remember having the diagnosis and mum, like, hugging me in the kitchen. Like, I just have this
when we had
random
that day
memory,
where she
like,
broke the news to me, she picked me up in the car, and
exactly,
then the next weekend,
drove. She fucking drove.
the next weekend,
like,
is
what
the
a
doctors
woman.
say
I can't.
you
Like,
shouldn't
she
drive
was
because you could have. Well, they basically said as well you're having loads of seizures.
minor seizures. So that's what it turned.
But
like,
but we never saw her. You know, they weren't.
these were
what
her
you
original
think.
signs. Was at Christmas, she was like sat down. She was like, my arm feels really weird.
Yeah.
And it was like these weird shooting pains, and it turns out that was minor seizures that she was having.
Yeah.
So that was the tumour taking over her brain.
And
that
then
was-
she also had the
paralysis.
seizures in one side and then a dull ache in the other.
Yeah.
I can't remember what links to what. But
Yeah.
yeah, so as you were saying, do the interview one day. The next day we wake up, we come downstairs and she can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
And Dave, her boyfriend, had gone, like, he was doing stuff in the garden, maybe he was in the studio, maybe he was on a dog walk. And we were sat with her, kind of trying to not panic. and she needed, and we were like, okay, this is. Oh no, Dave knew, but kind of like got on with stuff because she was fine. And they booked an appointment, maybe.
I think maybe they were trying to go find like a wheelchair and trying to get stuff.
Yeah, it was just okay. This is the next stage. This is what's happening. But then they hadn't really thought it through. So then we're sat with her, trying to like keep her company. But it's fucked up because then we're like, shit. What if she needs the bathroom? So then we're trying to. Bearing in mind, this woman is not short. Like she's skinny, lanky
bitch,
lanky ass Scandinavian queen slay. But like. Yeah, we're both, I mean, you're taller than me, but we're trying to, like, hold her together, and dead weight is
But the thing
really
is, as
heavy.
well, because she can't speak, she's, like, trying to say that she wants to go, but she can't. But the thing is, in her mind, she's fine. So she's trying to get up and just walk there. It's like, where the fuck do you think you're going? You can't walk.
Where are you going?
She's, like, trying to go, and it's like, you can't go.
No, Mum, you can't.
So we just, for about 10 minutes, we would go, no, you go under, I go over. You go under. And we're, like, some kind of fucking comedy act. Like, down,
oh, no,
left,
and
right,
also
and
she had, it wasn't even, was it one side of her, whatever? Yeah, it was one side of her body.
Side.
If it's like kind of alternate arms and legs, like that would be fine. But because it's one whole side of the body, it's like, yeah. And she kept getting her foot stuck when we were trying to carry her, but then couldn't say, like, my foot's stuck. And at one point she was like, ow! And we were like, it's not and I was like, well, so then we had to kind of like pick up her like it's just awful.
I just want to address we have to laugh, otherwise we'll cry.
Yeah, literally.
Right? And like I can't.
That's not the podcast.
Is
like
it
the other?
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. Well, shout out to them then, sure. But I don't know. The thing is, like in these situations, our whole entire family has just been humorous because we don't know how else to fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
And especially us, like it's our mum. Like even now, we're like, guess what? Your mum. It's like
it doesn't hit the
so
same.
So it's like, I don't know. So apologies now if we laugh at really non-funny things, but also this is we don't know what else to do. So
live, laugh, wow.
Yeah, live, laugh, wow.
Live, laugh, wow. But yeah, and then we had to like try and take her to the bathroom, and it was just,
that was probably
it was just not ideal.
I think for me at that moment in time, One Day had just come out, or like I had watched it with because there was this one scene, you know, like when he carries his mum up the stairs when he comes home.
Oh yeah.
And like I think that thing happened with mum, and then a week later I watched the show, or I watched the show before, I can't remember. And in that moment of carrying mum to piss, and I swear like she had an accident and you went to go get trousers, and I was just left with her, and I just was like, in my head it was like, I just carried my mum to the toilet, I just carried my mum to the toilet, I just carried my mum to the toilet. And in my head I was just hearing, I carried her up the stairs, I carried her up the stairs. And I was like, I can't believe that I've just watched a fucking show and now this is reality. Whereas for other people it's like, oh, what a sad scene, like I can't imagine going through that. And it's like, we're fucking going through it. Like we were going through it.
It's only recently I've realised we've gone through it. Like I keep being like, oh my god, imagine if, and then I'd be like, oh wait, I've done that.
Because everyone now is like, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'm like, it's okay, and I'm like, it's actually not.
It's actually like not okay.
And like I was saying, like maybe we are traumatized. My point is, I can't fucking remember because I blocked it all out, and I feel like that speaks for itself.
Also, everyone would, when people find out, it's hard because they say like, how are you? And you just go, I'm okay. And I'd say, it's just one of life's shit things, man.
But what
the fuck?
What my fucking therapist said to me is like, when someone says like, oh, or when they find out, they're like, oh, like, I hope you're okay, or how are you? And then if you say they're okay, that's for their own peace of mind.
Yeah,
they're not expecting you to say, I'm doing shit. They're expecting you to say, I'm good, so that they feel fine. But then this is my point, like, this is what I hate when people, like, ask me how I'm doing, and then I'm like, oh, I'm fine. But if I say that I'm not, and oh my god, the thing is, every time I say this, I feel like I am just quoting that whole entire BoJack Horseman scene, when he's like, when he tells the girl, the Jack in the Box, that the Free Churro episode, which is my favourite episode before any of mum shit happened. This is my point. All my favourite films, series, linked to dead mums. I'm like, how does this work?
On the nose.
But he talked about how he says that his mum dies and then she cries, and he looks like the arsehole for not comforting her.
Yes.
But he's the one who needs comforting. Because he's the one who's lost his mum, but in the end he has to comfort her, and it's like, I don't want to have to give other people reassurance, like, I'm the one who's fucking lost my mum. So it's like, when people genuinely ask me how I'm doing, I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Is
And then that's them, like, okay for their own peace of mind, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
the other thing I've just remembered as well, in one day, Dexter, is like that whole sequence is like him partying too hard and then coming home and then, oh fuck, sick parent. And like, again, I can have talked about this in the deleted non-existent episode, but I don't know about you, you had a boyfriend, so it's more chill.
Still
have.
Shout out to Dimitri.
But I basically went through a cycle where one weekend I'd be at home with you and mum and being like, just traumatized, and then the next weekend I'd be partying for 3 days in a row, having fun, substance abuse, still trying to juggle work. I actually did great / fine at work at that point, because I just like, the same with the gym. Like I did gym, I worked because I was just like, I'm pushed through. Like
I feel like this is really good stuff to talk about, but we should definitely go more in depth
We'll
for
go,
each episode. We should really talk about this.
We will.
First time we tried recording this, I just was completely numb.
Yeah.
And kind of almost past the depression.
Yeah.
But now
I'm depressed.
Now I'm in anger.
You're in anger.
Because everyone fucks me off. I find myself getting angry. The other day I had like my first anger outburst in a long, long time. I haven't had an anger outburst like that since I was 14, Amy. Like, it's really bad.
Rage.
Yes.
Like,
grief
rage.
It was bad. But like, it gets to the point where tiny things set me off.
Really?
So like, I'm getting mad at everyone, and I genuinely am going through the thing where I'm like, fuck you, you have a mum and I don't.
It's never, for us, it's never sad films or music or stuff like that makes us upset. Like, for me, it's always just random shit.
It's just random shit.
Like, because my brain
Which
probably can't
everyone
cope
did
with
warn us
actually being
about.
upset.
Everyone did say, like, it comes in waves.
Yeah, but being upset, it's still not for me, like, necessarily exactly
It's
mum.
just
It's like,
weird moments.
if this is like the issues about mum, there's issues surrounding that, and it's like I get upset about the stuff around that, but not like, I think it's because your brain literally can't cope with it. Yeah, it's only recently that I've been able to be like, okay, so she's not coming back from holiday.
I see, like, I remember, I don't know, like, it's weird, like, I know that she's not coming back, but I remember, like every day is normal, and then suddenly I'll have a small wave and I'm like, one sec.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, doesn't matter, move on.
Yeah.
Because I can't dwell in it. Otherwise it becomes too much.
It's like, if you got, what's the benefit of being upset? Like, that sounds fucked up. But like, we don't have the time or the energy to be sad. We're sad. But like, slow sad, not crying sad.
It's more like I will have to put time aside to be sad.
Yeah.
Because if I genuinely think about it, and if I start crying about it, I will never, ever, ever stop crying. So it's like, I have to just tell myself, just like, I'll remember, I'll acknowledge it, and then throw the thought out the way. Like, it is what it is, move on with the day. But obviously that's not like healthy, just hiding, you know, like, well, avoiding it and running away from it, but also we can't dwell in it because you get nowhere in life. It's not realistic.
I've got the opposite with my therapist, where she's like, you need to be upset now, otherwise it's going to bubble up down the line. So she's like, set time to be upset. Set time to be upset and try and like trigger it, or meditate or stuff like that. I'm seeing someone now, we'll go into my grief and dating history one episode, but
tune in later.
And he knew, obviously, my mum had died. Like, we'd spoken about it a lot, but I'd never told him. Like, he made basically a brain cancer or tumour joke. And I was like, not to be that bitch, but like, that's a bit insensitive. Yeah. And he was like, why? And I'm like, oh shit. Like,
did you just tell him that mum died without brain tumours? What did you say?
Like,
did you just say
just
that
a
my
cancer.
Mum died? Just cancer.
And that's another thing as well. Brain tumours, brain
so
stuff
different.
is mean as fuck.
I've only met one person recently,
and there's no info on this.
Because everyone has different like experiences with different cancers, and it's gone on for a while, or it's gone on just as little as us. But no one knows.
People have
what
friends
it's like.
with parents who had cancer, but it's a slow process.
It's a slower process, and it's completely different.
And it doesn't.
Type
Watching
of
your
cancer.
person become effectively disabled, a child, and then a vegetable, and then a corpse.
Yeah, that was really fun
for a week. just hanging around. So basically, each week we'll wrap this up, this first episode.
Yeah.
But the whole point is
This can just be pilot.
this is the pilot episode.
Pilot.
That I realised that, like, I'm a big podcast fan. You're not. Just chill.
I am not.
You are not. But I was looking for grief podcasts, and there's all the ones by cancer charities where you've got like a middle-aged person. They might interview a celebrity, which now and then is interesting. But it's all the grief has happened in the past,
Yeah.
or they've got their own families and their kids. So you process it differently to when
Yeah.
your parent has died. You're at uni. I'm starting out in industry. I just thought we need to get this from like the stages of grief as it's happening,
Yeah.
and how that's playing into our kind of work and uni. For now,
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. We will speak to you
Yeah.
on the next therapy sesh.
Anyway, thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for
so much
listening.
listening.
Bye.
Bye.